What is poppin', y'all, everybody? It's your man, Cloudboy Bales. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly. Today's topic, Milwaukee Brewers. Congratulations to this year's Milwaukee Brewers team, the 2024 Milwaukee Brewers team is once again the NL Central champs. We have clinched the postseason. That was about almost a week ago since it's happened. But crazy that we already did it so early. I figured since today was an off day, this would be a chance to basically reflect on the season, going from where we began to where we ended up today. The season's not even over yet. There are still 6 or 7 more games depending on if people play today or not. But yeah, we pretty much, I think everyone probably has the remaining, 6 games left of the season to determine, where seeding is as of right now. Right now, pretty much, we know the teams that are officially eliminated. The Brewers will be the only team in the Central competing for the World Series, as the Cubs, Cardinals were both eliminated about 2-3 days ago, something like that. But that's pretty funny, despite everything that's happened. But you know what? This is what I want to talk about. Nobody gave this team a chance this year. Nobody. Everybody thought that we were just going to be in this rebuild mode, There are people thinking we're just going to trade away our stars, that are going to be free agents. We're going to do this. This is what we thought was going to be the case. And instead, we led the division the whole way. A division that basically actually was fighting itself, and we just stayed out in front, away from all the drama. And that's the best way you could put it. Pittsburgh actually had some... normally Pittsburgh starts the year out strong, and then they just completely collapse. But their collapse wasn't really until August. So they were actually fighting, and they probably have the Rookie of the Year in Paul Skeens. And then Cincinnati, I think they even though they had a promising year last year, this year wasn't as promising, despite Ellie De La Cruz having a phenomenal season, and they fired their manager. Cardinals had a better season. Not as bad as the disastrous season they had last year, but obviously Cardinals are starting to get back into the swing of things, but they're kind of stuck in the middle. And the Chicago Cubs, who came in second last year, came in second again, missed out on the playoffs. Just what a brutal season for Cubs fans, they were the expected winners of the division this year, getting a team that almost made the postseason last year. Getting Craig Counsell from the Brewers, everybody thought this was the Cubs' year. This was the year they were finally going to make the postseason again, and things were going to go back to normal. And instead, they basically got worse. They looked worse. Now, I can't fathom that the Cubs, if things go... The Cubs probably will be better next year. I mean, I anticipate it because... they believe to have Bellinger back. That's the thing. But the Brewers were the big story this season. Nobody expected Pat Murphy to do as well as he did. And with all the circumstances that happened this season, and I'm talking about, how do I say this? I mean, a bunch of trades in the offseason, Counsell leaving us for Chicago. We traded Burns, our best player. Everybody was anticipating we were going to be really bad, We signed Hoskins as a cheap deal. Everyone was thinking, okay, maybe they're signing Hoskins because they're going to trade him, and then they're going to trade Adames, for a big haul and rebuild, because that was the assumption. And instead, we were better than anticipated. But the thing about this team compared to teams in the past is, the 2018 team was special because we just had so much magic. This team didn't have that sort of magic this year, but this is a team that did the little things. The little things that get the job done. And that is what I think was really important going into the season. Last year, we had guys that could do the little things, but we think that Council was probably holding the team back from really getting somewhere. Because, 2018, I think everybody is mad the way he mismanaged that Game 7, and we lost out in the World Series. 2019, of course, a mismanaged wild card game led to Hader coming in way too early and them absolutely collapsing in the 8th inning. And then you got 2020, but that team was trash. 2021, their pitching was just unbelievable. We had no hitters. We had no one that was reliant to hit the ball. Going on to 2022, same situation. Didn't even make we had actually a good lineup. We didn't even make the postseason. And, and then you go on to last year. There were problems there were things that were holding this team back. But what Murphy's done is completely change it around. And this team felt more free than controlled. Council tried to control everything, but with Murphy, I felt like everyone was having way more fun than they had in past years. And that was something that I feel like I've never seen with the team before. And that's why I feel like this season seems slightly different. Yelich and Hoskins and Adames were pretty much our veterans. And then everybody else, they're all rookies and second-year players. I mean, this is a young team. Our rotation had no Corbin Burns. Freddie Peralta, who was obviously an inconsistent pitcher, as we all know, was our ace. Was he phenomenal this season? Not exactly. But we were able to have some pitchers that actually did some things that really provided this team. What's crazy is, with everything that's happened, we lost Corbin Burns to... we traded away Corbin Burns. We also traded away Adrian Hauser and Tyrone Taylor, two veterans. We lost Brandon Woodruff for the year. He'll be back next year, which is great, but we cut him and then re-signed him to another deal, and that was great. I'm glad they were able to do that. And then, Devin Williams getting an injury that basically impacted him, He didn't play until August, and... we also didn't have a lot of other people. Some people struggled. Chorio didn't fully develop until later in the season. We also were without Garrett Mitchell for like half the year. And then Christian Yelich, of all people, he was doing so great. This was his best season since 2019. And then, boom, back injury, out for the year. Brutal loss. I can't imagine what this team would be if they actually had Christian Yelich. If you add Christian Yelich to this underdog of a team... I can't imagine I'd have more faith in them. But this is why I think a lot of people need to understand. Every year in the postseason, we choke, we struggle. But this is not Craig Counsell's team anymore. This is Pat Murphy's team. This is different. This is a different approach. And it's just really exciting to basically see what could possibly happen with the Brewers. I feel like no one's giving us a chance, and I want that to think that. If we go in with that same mentality that people were giving us all season, we could actually go on a run. I mean, they're more than capable of it. Despite everything. I mean, we had the most mid-rotation. Literally, our rotation consisted of Freddie Peralta and then we literally trade for Aaron Savale and Frankie Montas. Had to give up, Joey Weimer for Montas, but still, we still had to give up some people to get some pitchers, and that was important, really important. And then even Colin Ray, a guy who was on the team last year, had to start some games due to people being injured, ended up having to be a starter, and he actually didn't do that half bad. And our best pitcher this year was some random rookie who was so bad in the minors, no one wanted him, we took him, and all of a sudden, he ended up with the best ERA on our team this year. I don't know how our pitching staff does it. Every year they're developing this talent, and next season, when Woodruff comes back, we're actually going to have a solid rotation. And we also got this Gasser guy who was looking really good. It was rookie lefty, likely going to be coming back in the middle of next year after getting Tommy John surgery, but that's another big deal. We're set for the future. Now, the offense is what obviously is different. Our offense is led by the two Willies, I like to call them, Willy Adames and William Contreras. Willy Adames single-handedly had the best season he has had for the Brewers. Over 30 home runs and 100 RBIs already for Willie. His defense, obviously, compared to previous years, has pretty much slid and not been as great. But Willie has been our offense. So has William Contreras, having probably the best season a catcher has ever had in Brewers history. Those two have really been the pioneers of this offense, and got to be thankful for them. You know? Also, how about Jackson Chourio? That kid is something else. This guy is going to be shaking up the league for years. I can't wait to see what he brings. And then everybody else contributes with great defense, like Sal Frelick, who honestly will win a Gold Glove at some point in his career. What? And then even Bryce Terang. Bryce Terang looked so bad as a rookie last year, and then somehow this season was able to turn it around and actually look good. He's a great, decent leadoff hitter, and he can be that guy. I like Bryce Terang. I mean, I'm excited, He's going to be a future Gold Glove as well. I mean, technically, those two are probably going to tie my vote for Gold Glove of the Year for the Brewers. Those are future Gold Glovers for sure. That's for sure. And then, you know what? Our bullpen's not even that bad. Williams is going to be a free agent at the end of next year. I feel like it'll be an arbitration hearing and then we're going to get the same thing. But we saw without Williams that we were able to still win games. Trevor McGill was pretty much our closer up until Williams returned from his injury, and McGill did pretty good. So it doesn't make me concerned that we don't have a closer set, because we have a bunch of guys in there like Payamps, McGill, Uribe. Don't forget about Uribe. That he'll probably be back next year. We have a bunch of guys in there that can actually get the job done in the bullpen. So if William goes, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But we managed to. I mean, that guy's changeup is the best in baseball, and you can't say anything less. So most importantly, we don't know who we're facing yet. We still have 6 games to determine that. It's also possible. Now, I'm saying it's probably unlikely, but obviously it's not set that we can go. We can go for the bye. Now, right now, I think the Dodgers are ahead 4 games or 5. I don't know, but 5 games, and I think the Phillies are ahead 4 games. So pretty much, I feel like it's very unlikely that it comes down, but I'm assuming we're going to be playing in the wild card game. We're not going to get a bye. And likely our matchup is going to be either the New York Mets or the Arizona Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks, who we just played, didn't do so good against them in this home series. But again, the Diamondbacks were pretty much trying to get a close up on their division and try to really. They're currently in the process of trying to clinch a playoff spot. The only team that is out of the wild card picture that is still in it is the Braves, and that's the team I think most people would want to face because their offense has not been so hot. Except you would have to face Chris Sale probably in Game 1, but I'm not really sold on them. But the Diamondbacks, a rematch against the Diamondbacks would be different. We know how to face them, but they do know how to beat us. Now, that game was pretty crazy yesterday if you did not see it, where we came back from 8-0 and won 10-9. That was crazy. But that's a team that we probably could face again. And then the Padres, I think, are too far up. I think the Padres will get the 4 spot, and they'll be facing whoever is the 5th in the wild card. And the other team that we possibly could face is a team that we faced at the very first series, and we still have to face them again to end the season, the New York Mets. They are a team that is so hot right now, I do not think a single team wants to face them. I don't think so. I don't think anyone wants to face the New York Mets ever since Grimace threw out the first pitch. It's just been unbelievable. So it's going to be tough. Now, obviously, once we get to that point of the season where we know who we're facing, and the season comes to a close, I'll make a video doing my playoff preview and think about how this is. But I think this is a season to basically celebrate. I feel like this Brewers team, people are basically telling me, oh yeah, they're going to be a one and done. They're always a one and done. You haven't really. Why do you think that we actually have a chance this year? I think we have a chance because no one's giving us a chance. Look at what happened with the Packers last year. Nobody gave us a chance last year when we made the postseason and actually won a game in the playoffs. You never know. And plus, it's a home series, too, for wild card. But a lot can happen. So if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and as always, we will see you next time. Go Brewers!